All right. So I'm going to tell a story, a true story. Thank you. It's probably about 85% true if we're going to be completely honest here. But I have a friend, we're still friends, in Chicago who took a job for the weekend. She was studying, needed some extra cash, and decided that she was going to dog sit for a family. Now, usually when you dog sit, it's not that difficult. The family gives you some instructions, you follow them, they come back, and everything's good. Well, this family was a little bit different. They loved their dog. It was the kind of dog that probably has a larger wardrobe than I have, probably spends more on hair, has portraits. So they left quite an extensive list. She wasn't intimidated until she got to the house. And the one thing that wasn't on the list was when she opened the door and she yelled for Fluffy and goes into the living room, and Fluffy is dead on the floor in the living room. I mean, it was one of those moments where you're so shocked, it can't be true. You know, she's like, this can't be happening. She's poking Fluffy, no, wake up, Fluffy, wake up. And the family, she runs to the phone to call, but they were going on a cruise. So she calls, it goes to their voicemail, you know. This is Bob, Shelly, and Fluffy, leave us a message. So I've never had a pet that's passed away suddenly. So I can understand when she didn't know what to do. You know, what do you do with a dead, loved pet? So she calls her mom. And her mom goes, well, you should get in touch with the vet. I'm sure they'll want a burial. So maybe they can handle the, Fluffy until they get back. So she calls the vet up. And the pet ambulance, I don't know what you call it, is rather expensive. And side note, my friend is rather cheap. So she didn't want to use her dog sitting money to pay for Fluffy's disposal. So she's thinking, maybe I could get a taxi and take Fluffy. But she looks down at the address for the vet and realizes that it's only one L stop away. So she goes to the closet and finds a duffel bag. Fluffy isn't really small, but she's not really large either. So she gently takes Fluffy and places her in the duffel bag. Now the walk to the Green Line is only 3 blocks away. So she heads out. By the time she gets to the stairs to go up onto the platform, she's a little bit tired. Fluffy is making her arm sag a little bit. So she pauses for a moment at the stairs and looks up. A man comes up next to her, and all of a sudden, she hears him say, can I help you with that? You look rather tired. And he starts taking the duffel bag from her. And she didn't know what to do but walk up with him. So they're going up the stairs, and he goes, this bag is pretty heavy. What do you have in here? That's the last question she wanted to hear. So her mind's racing, what do I say? And the first thing that pops into her mind, computer parts. So, he nods his head and goes, well, what are you doing with all these computer parts? Again, she just does not want to be having this conversation. So she goes, I sell them. And he shakes his head again and goes, is that your business? Is that a good business? And by this time, they're reaching the platform, and she's like, yes, and grabs the duffel bag away. A minute later, the train comes, and they step onto the train, and she's just, I just want to get there, having that state of mind, and stands kind of close to the door because she knows she'll get off in one stop. The train moves quickly, and the stop comes, the doors open, and the man seizes the opportunity to push her down on the floor, grab her duffel bag, and run out the door. So my friend doesn't know what to do. You can't really call the cops for something like that. So the end of the story that I know is that she had to tell this family that their beloved dog not only died, but was stolen. And then I like to imagine the other ending where this robber goes to a dark alley, opens a duffel bag, puts a dead dog as he stares at Fluffy. Thanks.